I'll say a few words while you all are getting back to the seat. So first, welcome to Singapore, and thank you to William and the gang for putting this group together, and also for establishing these new partners in crime. But I actually wanted to echo some of the stuff which I heard during the panel just now. It's very fashionable to say the world has changed. It's very fashionable. It's also very fashionable to say that it's all now democratized. That everyone now can write, everyone can read, everyone can publish, everyone can copy, everyone can transmit designs. But I was just having a chat with Suyang just now. I think you heard me speak earlier today. Suyang is a Singaporean who is now living in Shanghai. I got to know him, actually it's the first time I met him. I got to know him because I came across his chip, the ESP8266. Actually, I'm complaining bitterly to him because I had a lot of problems. I wasted so many hours of my life on that chip. But there's great potential in it. But actually, the more important message I wanted to reflect to all of you is that yes, the world has changed. Yes, subsystems have been commoditized. Yes, Asians have always been good at creativity and handicraft. And if you think about the last century, the industrial processes were really about mass production. That means whoever had the money, who had the factories, who could make lots of things exactly the same, but make lots of them very quickly, achieve economies of scale, and then have global supply chains at a monopoly share of economic benefits. What has changed now is the fact that it's no longer the age of mass production. I think it is the age of mass making, and mass individualization and mass customization. You see, in the end, the 8266, the ESP8266 is not a product. Maybe it's a subsystem, maybe. Right? But the real value is how can you put all the different pieces together to create something unique, something which someone else wants and someone is willing to pay for and to work with. And therefore, what we're moving towards is actually really about values. We need a society in which people are curious. We need to know how things work, how to fix it, how to repair it. It's really about the value of curiosity. Next, you need a society where people are creative. That means we're not just passive consumers buying branded goods. We need to be able to say, I'm buying this or I'm wearing this watch because I assembled it myself. And why? Because to me that's more important than a Rolex or a fancy one. It's because I did it myself. So that value of creativity. But equally important, the third C is collaboration and teamwork. Because you cannot achieve anything in life nowadays on your own. Nothing of value will be created on your own. I heard people say just now you don't like bosses. It's the same thing. People say they don't like ministers. But actually, if you stop to think about it, whether you call a person a manager or a boss or a minister, the brutal truth is we have to work in teams. We have to collaborate. We have to work together. We need to share sometimes. We need to fight sometimes. We need to be able to negotiate our differences. So never assume that everything has completely changed and suddenly it's not important to have money, it's not important to have the ability to form teams, it's not important to be able to form businesses and enterprises, and it's not important to have access to materials, and the most important thing, ideas. Alright, so be very careful, and I want to echo what William said just now. Do not assume that the maker movement is a panacea or solution to all our problems. The maker movement is a very important and a growing segment of the larger ecosystem. Yes, you are more important, but you're not the only game in town. Because remember, to a man holding a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So we as makers must not become that kind of one-sided, narrow-minded people. And I want to echo what Suyan said this morning. If what we are making is so simple, so trivial that everybody can do it, actually there's not that much value in that. If what we are making is sure to fail because it is a moonshot that we can not, we can touch, sometimes the fact that you can touch the ceiling but you cannot grab hold of it, actually it's not enough to touch your grasp. Mr. Lee Kuan Yew used to remind us, make sure your grasp does not exceed your reach. Because there's no point just touching and wanting something but not being able to grab hold of it, make a success of it. So, as Suyan says, we got to find the right balance. The balance between making everything simple and democratized and commoditized, and yet still create something of value. We have to find the balance between finding something that is difficult enough so that very few people outside this room can do it, but not so simple that it is valueless. Similarly, even as you aim for the sky, try to get some success along the way. Because it is, I'm not saying that you should be afraid of failure, but you should try to succeed at least some of the time. So get the right balance. From a Singapore government or the Singapore society point of view, makers will always be welcome down here. We believe in, because Singapore has got no oil, no gas, nothing, all we have is ideas. Ideas can only germinate in human brains, and human brains are human bodies. So we still will value individuals with ideas, with passion, with energy. The other thing which we hope Singapore will be able to provide is not money, but smart money. Frankly, most of the ideas nowadays, because even the internet ecosystem is so commoditized, you don't need a server, you don't need, you just buy services on the cloud to start an internet startup, for instance. The hurdle rate is not money. The hurdle rate is smart money. That means someone who can tell you whether the idea works or doesn't work, and someone who says, okay, I'm going to invest in you. And I think just now, Mr. Yun from Dato' Yun, right, said that actually I'm not really interested in product. I'm interested in you as a person and what ideas that you have. So we hope that Singapore will also eventually be a place where you have access to smart money. That means money that's attached to a brain with some experience and who believes in you and invests in you, not just to make money, but because they believe in your ideas and in you as a person. And the final point I would say is unique to Singapore, and this one I'll have to say with a little bit of, at the risk of being politically incorrect, is that we aim to run the most honest, uncorrupt, and fair system for businesses and ideas to compete and to thrive. And I think if you travel around the world, being straight, and no civil servant or minister here is asking you for favors or giving you money, is actually a big advantage. What that means is that if the Singapore government buys your product or uses your service, we become a reference customer because people know I didn't buy your product because you gave it to me for free or gave me something extra. In fact, if I use your product or I waste many hours of my personal time on your product, it's because I believe there's something interesting. That is the ultimate testimony for that. So thank you all very much. I wish you all the very best.